Okay, the idea of this is to make this actually a little bit more dynamic because right now it's just counting to 100 no matter what. So if we do here, I'm just going to do control minus so you can see the entire screen. So right now it's always counting to 100. We want to make this dynamic. The first step is let's do a get here. And I'll say here $sign get. And the value it's going to get is actually this count2 value because that's what will be submitted to the server. I will name this $sign range. And this will go from whatever value is put here, it'll be placed here in range. And this range, instead of using the constant 100, we'll use the variable range. Let's save it. Go here. I'll type in 10. Click on submit, and notice that it's going to 10 now. Now let's type in 50. It goes to 50. So again, what's happening here, if you look at this code right here, this will get the value that was submitted to the server. Right now, that value is 50. Okay, I don't know what just happened there, but we'll go over that error in a second. Now, the only issue with this particular program, let's type in 40 again, is that when the user first comes to this page, this is actually what the page looks like the first time. I'm going to hit enter. And notice here it's saying undefined index. The reason it's saying that is basically, think of PHP is looking for this particular value in this special array. If it doesn't exist, you're going to get this error right here. It's telling you basically an undefined index, basically it's not there. It's saying you're looking for a value that's not there. And right now, it isn't there. So what we have to do is we have to do a basic check to make sure that this is not null. So what we're going to do here, let's do a special function that's called is set. And what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if this has been set. Okay, we're going to do it like this. There's many ways you can do this. Let's do $sign status. And we're going to say here if $sign status, and what this is going to do is going to return you a reference to this object. If this object is a valid object, or basically it evaluates to true in this statement, that means it's okay to perform this get. So we'll say here $sign range is equal to get. Otherwise, if it's not okay to do this, then we're going to do this portion right here. We're going to say range has a default value, let's say of 20. Let's say that's the default value we give it. In fact, let's make it 100 since that's what we started with. Now what happens when I run this program. Okay, it's telling me line 40. Let's go to line 40 and see what's wrong. Okay, line 40, I forgot the semicolon. So let's save it. Let's reload this. And look right now, this will work in any situation now. Because I'm using the isSet, if it's a valid value that comes here that will evaluate to true, you can then say, oh, it's okay to run this. If the value is not true, then you can't run this because you're going to get an error, so give it a default of 100. So here, let's type in 50. And you go to 50. But notice here that you're still getting 100. And if you remember we talked about in classes, because every time you submit this page, you're actually getting a new page that's being generated for you. And it doesn't know to keep that value of 100. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell PHP instead of 100, we want to put our own value here. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to slightly trick PHP. So what I'll do here is, let's put PHP here, this delimiter, and put it there, and save it. Then you're going to just grab this code here and put it right there. Now what that allows me to do here is, instead of putting 100 here, let's put this variable range here. Now save this. Right now this is not correct. For those of you going, hey, he's about to save it, this is not correct. That is true, but let's just run the experiment for the hell of it. Let's click here on submit, and look right now here, it did submit the 100 because the 100 went through, counted to 100. But notice here I put in range, and I didn't mean to put this range. It actually should be the echo range. I should be echoing this number out. So this actually should be PHP. So let's do this, PHP, and I'll just bring this to the next line because it's hard to see. Let's save it. And what this will do now is, imagine the first time you run this page. If this returns an invalid object, this will fail. Therefore, then it'll make range by default 100. And if I go here and say range, this actually won't work. I should actually do an echo to display that range. This should now display 100 here. That's the default. But let's say hypothetically this contains a valid value. It passes here saying this is going to be a valid reference to something, therefore meaning that this will evaluate to true, and then you'll get, let's say 50 was placed in here, you'll put the 50 there, and then it'll echo 50 here. So let's save it, reload. There goes the default 100, but let's see if we type in 99. There goes a 99. Okay, let's type in 40. There goes a 40. Let's just make sure. We'll type in, let's see, not 700. Let's type in 55 just to make sure it works. And there it goes, 55. So again, one of the things I would concentrate on if you're studying, study the get, study the is set. So study those two. Thank you for your time, and good luck with practicing the videos.